right, so if you've been following along, we've completed the setup of our data, and we have actually entered a couple of prospects. Not very many, mind you, but just enough to give you an idea how the software will function. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about creating contacts. So these would be contact records on a one-by-one basis, as opposed to something like a direct mailing or a direct emailing. So this would be where you're directly contacting a particular prospect. And there's two ways you can log it. They both are the same screen. One is here on the main menu under Contact, and there is an individual contact selection, which brings you to this screen. That's the same screen that you can also get directly from the Maintain Prospect screen. So, for example, if we were on ABC Company Limited, which has two contact names, and we went to log a new contact, it opens up to the exact same screen. The advantage of doing it through the prospect screen is it pre-populates a lot of the information. If we were using the other screen, it would have been blank. So it picks up today's date, and then, as I had mentioned in an earlier lesson, you attach every contact you make, you attach to a particular campaign code. So maybe this is a direct marketing approach that is being made. So the prospect contacted is prospect number 1, who's ABC Company Limited, and then maybe I talk to Sally or by Jim. Whoever I talk to, I pick that number off of here. Who contacted them? So my choices are myself, and who's supposed to follow it up. Again, I'm going to put myself for the follow-up. You'll notice in an earlier lesson we said to default the follow-up 7 days from the contact. So if we contacted them on the 6th of July, it's defaulted a follow-up date 1 week from that time. I can change that if I want to follow up in 2 weeks' time or whatever. I can just pick that, and then I can make some notes here. So I can say, spoke to Sally about our accounting software. She asked for a demo, and one has been set up for July 20th. And I'm just going to save that now. Okay, so that's my contact that has been saved. To show how that appears now, I'm just going to close this screen. Back to my prospect maintenance screen, under contact history, you'll now see that I've got one contact for this client. Obviously, as time goes along, you will have multiple contacts. Now let me just show you how this would tie in here. So underneath, right on top of the menu, there is a button that says Dayboard. If you click on Dayboard, now I'm logged in as administrator, but normally I would have been logged in as myself. It shows me all of my open contacts. So I actually have one contact here, and it's set for follow-up on July 20th. They are color-coded, so if this is past due, it will show in green. And I only happen to have one here. So I'm going to really quickly, I'm going to go to Maintain Prospect. I'm also going to create a contact code for DEF Company Limited, and I'm going to log a new contact. And the campaign this time is going to be our summer golf tournament, and I spoke to Kelly, and once again it was me doing it, and maybe my follow-up is going to be on Friday. Phoned and left a message for Kelly. Okay, so now if we go back to our prospect screen here, under my DEF Company Limited, I have a single contact, and if I go to my ABC Company, I also have a single contact. I'm just going to close those now. I'm going to close all these screens so you can see. If I go back to my Dayboard now and refresh the list, you see I've got two contacts on here. So as these dates come about, I can pick the date. So I was supposed to follow up with Kelly on the 15th. So when July 15th comes, I can come into this screen. I can click on this little button here in this column, and it opens up the thread of that discussion. I place my cursor in that field. So if on your screen, if you press the F10 key on your keyboard, it will actually populate the date at the end of the conversation. Ironically, the software I'm using to record this uses the F10 to stop the recording, so I actually can't do it here. But it would normally look something like this. It would show you the date that you press that button on, and it would just head it up like that and put your cursor at the end. So I could, in fact, heard back from Kelly, and she is interested and asked to be contacted in early August. So then what you do is you update your thread of your conversation. Then you can come to this follow-up and closing date and adjust the date that you want to follow up with her. So I want to follow up with Kelly on August the 2nd, and I save it here. So now if you refresh your list, you'll notice that the DEF follow-up has been moved to August 2nd. And again, in the Maintain Prospect under Contact History, if I go to DEF Company Limited, I can see all my conversations in here, and I can follow the thread of each one. There is only one, but as you go along, you will see additional flags come up. Now, very lastly with this, if on the 2nd I speak to Kelly, so imagine that I press the F10 key, which I can't do in this one, but and say Kelly committed to coming to the tournament. So when you close a contact, all you need to do is you should identify the date that you closed it as of. So if I go back and I say I want to close it on the 2nd when I spoke to her, and then you flag it either as closed or successful completion here, and I'm going to save that. At this point, you'll notice that that contact has dropped off my dayboard. I only have one more open contact. Back to the prospect screen again under DEF. If I look at my open contacts, I don't have any, but if I look at all of my contacts, I'll see the history of that one particular conversation thread that I had. And that's how you maintain contacts and use it to remember who you're supposed to call back and what you talked about, and so on and so forth. That concludes this lesson.